the rights of transgender people is a high-profile battleground in America's current culture wars, and the issue gains major attention from top companies. At least 24 states, they're the ones in yellow, have proposed laws that would restrict access to bathrooms and other facilities based on biological sex. In other words, you have to use the bathroom of the sex for which is on your birth certificate. This is according to the National Conference of State Legislatures. If you look at some of those states that we're talking about here, take, for example, Indiana, which has the Religious Freedom Act. It allows businesses to cite religious freedom as a legal defense. Now, Apple, PayPal and Salesforce have strongly criticized the law. And then you go to North Carolina, for instance, where they have a bathroom bill. Now, you'll be aware of that. The NBA moved its all-star game away from the state. PayPal, again, Deutsche Bank, and they've all scrapped plans either to add jobs or to do business there. The latest, for one of the biggest fighting grounds at the moment, is in Texas, where the state Senate has voted overnight on a similar sort of bill. Tech companies have now written an open letter urging the state not to adopt the bill, and that includes Amazon, Facebook, and Google. It's, of course, one of those issues that's very much in the news at the moment. Duff Stewart was one of the chief executives who wrote that letter and joins me now. Good to see you, sir.
Hi, how are you, Richard? Thanks for having me.
Well, I've got the letter in front of me here, and there you are. Duff Stewart, chief executive, GSD&M. I read the letter. I mean, you basically say we're gravely concerned any such legislation would deeply tarnish Texas' reputation as an open and friendly place to do business.
Yes, Texas has always been known as a friendly place and a great place to do business. And legislation like this ultimately puts out a sign, essentially, that says Texas doesn't welcome all kinds of people. It's discriminatory. There are other issues that the state faces that we should be dealing with. The state itself, as we saw what happened in North Carolina, the state of Texas, some economic studies show we could lose up to $5 billion by 2026.
And yet, even knowing this, even seeing the North Carolina, the way businesses, Deutsche Bank and others moved out, PayPal cancelled a new center, the legislature continued with this. The governor continued with this.
Yes, Governor Abbott added this piece of legislation to the special session that we're currently in.
So they know about these letters. Yes. They know your views on this, and they don't care.
They don't seem to care. Businesses come out opposed to this. There's great concern about that. It hangs out that sign, as I said, and says business is not welcome here.
This question of your case is not made easier by today's announcement from the president, is it? I mean,
no.
This is... A, it's very strange that you would make such a policy announcement on Twitter, and B, basically saying to the 12,000 to 15,000 already in the forces that we don't know what to do with you, but you're not going to be allowed to serve.
Yes, it's very disappointing that President Trump did that today. Ultimately, in the state of Texas, we need to raise our hand and to speak up about an issue like this. It's really politics disguised as policy. And it's a move by our lieutenant governor and the governor to play to the far right and to protect their base, and ultimately that damages the business environment and doesn't keep Texas open for business.
Do you have any power to actually do anything? To quote John McCain yesterday, nothing's getting done. I mean, short of saying we will withdraw, we will not invest more, but a company like yourself, it's very difficult to do that in Texas.
Right, and Austin is where GSD&M is from. Right. We're an advertising agency. We wouldn't pick up and leave, but it is seriously damaging. So what power have you got? Well, we have the power of the people to stand up and to speak up against this. We saw in North Carolina that their governor lost his job in the last election because he signed that bill. And hopefully the people of Texas, if the bill is ultimately passed and signed by the governor, that we'll stand up and we'll deal with it come the next election. I've been very impressed with Speaker Strauss and what the members of the House have done in being focused on the business of Texas and not this type of legislation.
Do you find it slightly disconcerting that, everything I read from business now is we don't care what you do, who you sleep with, who you love, your color, your gender. We just want the best people that we can get, and talent is at a premium. Mary Barra said this about women in the automobile industry. Last week we heard it from Xerox former CEO. We just want the best people.
Talent is our opportunity to advance our businesses. It gives us a leg up against our competitors. So there is always a battle for talent. And when you hang a sign out that says we don't welcome transgender people, that damages Texas' ability to recruit. People that are in Texas may decide to leave and go elsewhere. It's not very favorable for the business environment.